I'm David Duchovny.
And I'm not. I'm Mike in Milwaukee. Thanks for joining us again. This is Rock Gut Review.
Rock Gut Review. I'm actually Ed. I'm not on the X-Files, unfortunately. But yeah, today we're getting into some bourbon. I think this is the first actual bourbon we've done on the show.
Well, I got to tell you, I cheated. I had a little bourbon earlier.
Oh.
Some Jim Beam. I'm looking forward to what this is going to be in comparison.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So, disclaimer before we start.
You're not my son?
Well, I'm sorry to break it to you on YouTube, Dad.
You are my son. Oh, well.
What are you going to do? You're stuck with me. But no, this is from Crowded Barrel, which is the distillery associated with the Whiskey Vault YouTube channel, of which I am a Patreon backer. So I want to get that out ahead of time.
So this is the Whiskey Tribe guys?
Yeah, these are the Whiskey Tribe guys, cool. Exactly. So I just want to get that out there, so just in case you think I'm biased by my association, you can make that judgment. I'll try to keep it.
That's why I'm here. We're going to keep it fair, neutral, honest.
But yeah, so this is their first release. This is Eleanor, and it's a single barrel bourbon, and they actually sourced this from MGP, which is a big old distillery in Indiana.
Right.
But they are very open about that. They're not trying to hide that at all. So it's a 37-month-old bourbon, bottled at cask strength from one barrel, and this is the 1856.
And this is bottled down in Texas,
Austin, Texas.
There we go.
Yeah. So they brought the barrels down, let them age in the Austin heat for a little while, which I'm sure made a difference because that heat is crazy.
So instead of 3 years, it's like 20 years.
Yeah, right.
It's got a great dark color. Must have picked that up through the aging process.
Yep. Yeah. And, you find with, like, Texas whiskeys, because this, aged in Texas for 3 months or so.
Where it's hot.
Where it's hot. Dry. Incredibly hot. And so you get a lot of color from those Texas whiskeys, because they just drain out all that wood, because the heat just pushes them into the wood.
Well, I get an ethanol punch. What's the
57.5 or 57.4, so 114.8 proof. Yeah. I mean, that's why they bottle that more or less cask strength. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Makes sense.
So first thing I'm getting
is
I mean, it's sweet. It got like a honey sweetness, but underneath, I'm gonna say like kind of like cardamom, like spicy. There's like a spicy note there, and dark sugar.
Oh yeah, poking your head into the cabinets with all the spices,
and
then getting into the sherry, and then going on eating all the cookies.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's like molasses cookies.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm catching a lot of oak off of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. I think that's
subtleties.
Pretty common with bourbon. You get a lot of oak because that new oak comes off pretty strong.
Sure.
Yeah, there is.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there is a little bit of that kind of, not quite bitter, but that tannic oak. Sure. Yeah, all right, let's get a drink.
Wow. Much better than the Jim Beam I had earlier, I gotta tell you.
Yeah. Oh, I love the finish on this.
Yeah, it's got a lot of flavor. And it kind of sits with you, like you said, just kind of honey down the back of your throat. It's a nice warm feel.
Yeah.
Got a good taste.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, I think it's interesting because I find with this one I get more of the oak on the front end.
Right.
Which is weird to me. Usually I feel like I get oak on the finish. But the oak seems to come on the front end, and the kind of sweet, cherry fruitiness I get on the finish. It just kind of warms your whole throat and the back of your palate.
Yeah, which is nice. This is not an overpowering taste initially. It's a more delicate palate to the taste than what I had earlier.
Yeah.
It was just like...
Oh, for sure.
I was drinking this going, yeah.
I think a lot of bourbons can be kind of overpowering.
Sure.
That's why I kind of tend toward Irish and Scotch, usually.
A little more delicate.
A little more, but
different flavorings.
Yeah, this is... I'm trying to expand my bourbon palate. I really am. So this is.
Yeah, I think bourbons are heavy on taste for sure.
Oh, undoubtedly. Yeah.
Okay, Eddie. So I got to ask you, why Eleanor? Why I see that on the bottle. Is it Eleanor Rigby, Eleanor Roosevelt? How old are these guys in the whiskey tribe? If they're my age, I'd like to meet them because there are very few people left my age.
Yeah, greatest generation type people. Served in World War I and II.
Not quite, but
Yeah.
I would have.
So they're not that old. It's actually Eleanor. They made up this story, right? So one of these guys, Daniel Whittington, at the Whiskey Vault, had an ancestor called Valentine Weiss.
Okay.
And basically they made up an entire fictitious backstory for his ancestor, which included his love interest, Eleanor, who, the name, they got it from the woman who had to sign their last permit to create their distillery.
Yeah. Nice tribute to her.
Right, it's cute. It's cute. And then so this is all the cute stuff about Eleanor and Valentine Weiss meeting in the single room schoolhouse, or and all that. It's
back when they both rode ponies.
Right. It's very adorable. So yeah.
Okay. Are we picking that sweetness up from the corn?
So corn is a big part of it. There is like that corn sweetness, yeah.
Okay.
But when you use a new cask, there's vanillins, which is where you get that vanilla flavor.
Sure.
So there is sweetness coming out of the wood as well. It's not all just the corn or the barley or whatever you're making your whiskey out of. Some of that is coming from the wood.
Sure.
And plus, when you're charring a barrel, you're caramelizing all those wood sugars.
Sure.
So when you get those molasses, caramel notes, all that's coming from that charred oak.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I feel like the combination of that kind of bitter oak with the sweetness reminds me a little bit of like cocoa beans. Just a touch.
Maybe. It's very pleasant. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
going to put a little water in there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because this is, and with a stronger whiskey like this, it's made so you can put as much water in there as you need. So I wouldn't be afraid to put water in this. I don't think it's gonna, kill the flavor.
Feels a bit of the alcohol up front on the nose.
And I don't know if I ever told you that when you're nosing, right?
Yeah.
Keep your mouth open a little bit. Yeah.
Because
Because it creates another airway so that it's not, all that alcohol doesn't just completely overwhelm you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so kind of breathe in.
At the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
And then you start to get a little bit more.
It's easier to discern the different flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And this, I think with the water, it does bring out a little bit more of that a dusty corn note. A little more bready. Like honey on brown bread, kind of. Yeah.
I'm still catching a lot of oak on this. It's like being in shop class before I lost my finger and got kicked out. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and sewed somebody else's back on. Yeah, so.
Actually, it was a thumb.
Oh, okay.
Finger for a thumb, it's a good trade.
Right. Right. I'm going to start collecting thumbs. I'm going to see how many thumbs I can get.
6 a hand. Yeah.
And now the FBI is watching the Rot Gut review.
Along with our 10 other
Yeah,
people.
the 10 other people who watch this show.
And we thank you all. We'll call you out by name one day,
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of the people, I know one of the things with this is that it's very limited in how you can get it right now, because they can't ship it out from the distillery. You have to go down there yourself. So I'm sure a lot of people who are watching, who are members of the Whiskey Tribe, who were there for the distillery opening where I got mine, I'm sure they already have a bottle. But it is kind of hard to get one because they're such a small operation right now, they don't really have any distribution. They can't really send it to a bunch of stores or whatever.
It's kind of a large bottle. I suppose whiskey mules are out of the question.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, unfortunately not. I don't think that's gonna work. I don't know. You're gonna find somebody who has got a trench coat full of Eleanor 1856 on the corner.
Right. Yeah. But no, yeah. This is a good
Oh, yeah.
Is this a small batch, large batch?
So I think they only had 6 barrels or so.
Oh.
So it is from MGP. So MGP creates a ton of whiskey, and they tend to use certain formulas. So you can order a whiskey based on this particular mash bill, and they will send you barrels of it. So a lot of people are sourcing whiskey from them. But again, each barrel is different. So if you take it, you age it in Texas for a little while.
Right.
And
Versus aging it in Alaska.
right. And then each barrel is different. You're going to come out with a different product for each bottle.
Sure.
So these bottles are pretty much, they're not like widely produced. You can never really create the same barrel again.
Right.
Because every single barrel is going to be different. Yeah.
Awesome.
As I'm letting this sit, I'm getting a little bit. I can always tell with a bourbon that has rye in it, as opposed to like a wheated bourbon. I can always tell.
A little spicy.
Yeah, I always end up finding the rye after a little while. You start finding a little bit of that kind of green spicy thing going on. Yeah. Yeah, and which I love rye. So after we finish up with once we get through some bourbons, we're gonna have to do rye because I love rye.
Okay.
I'm a big rye guy.
So tonight is bourbon. Tomorrow, who knows?
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I don't know. I like this one. I
do
one
too.
quite a
I
bit.
think the Whiskey Tribe did well.
Yeah. Well, so Rex and Daniel are the guys over there. So thank you, thank you to
that's
Rex and
your-
Daniel. Oh yeah, and they signed the bottle. I got them to sign the bottle because I'm a massive nerdy fanboy. So yeah.
Corporate shill.
Yeah.
Hey guys, send me the link. I'm gonna buy the next bottle. Thank you.
No, you can't trust anything I say. So
Anyway,
but cheers.
cheers and
This has been the Rock Out Review.
good job. Thank you, and thank you everybody for watching.
Yes, absolutely.